Hi, welcome to this book writing web class training. And today we are going to learn how to publish a book for free. And my name is Sumit, and I'm going to walk you through step by step today. So let's begin. So before we begin, I would really suggest that you get the notebook and pen and paper ready so that you can write anything that you need to really make a note for. And also keep your mobile phone on silent or anything that can distract you. Keep that away from you, and then just let's focus on this web class training. So here are some of my books. Basically, this is my book, The Ultimate Guide to Property Investment. This is my second edition. By the way, the first edition took me few years to write actually, and then I went into some of the book writing training program. I learned some strategies. I learned how to write really books. Then this book I managed to write in just a couple of months. Book, A Guide to Commercial Property Conversion. By the way, you can find all of these books on Amazon by searching by using my name, either Sumit Gupta or by this book title. This book took me a month to write, so little more progress from the first one. And this is my another book, The Money, How to Make, Manage, Maximize, and Master Money. This book I wrote just in 30 hours. So, I mean, likewise, I've got quite a few books that I have published. You can find all of them on Amazon. Just to give you an idea here, basically, I became better and better as I kept writing books. So I decided that, I should basically help others to write the book by, teaching them the same proven system that I've learned. And also I've added some more valuable advantages in that system that I've come across during my experience of writing book, how to really convey this message to somebody who is also like on a journey like me, how I started. Many people I feel would be starting and struggling the same way. So I thought maybe let's design a program for them. So you will have to write the right contents. And what we mean by that is you need to have a clear purpose right from the beginning. When you're writing your book, you need to decide what exactly you want that book to do for you. And then accordingly, you write the content so that it can fulfill your purpose. And then you exactly write what you want the book to do for you. Yeah. And next is precision. Like, so we need to have very clear idea of, let's say in next 5 years down the line, what exactly we want our book to do for us, or how many books do we like to write. For example, I write books on like property or finance and all. So let's say my goal could be like something I would like to write 5 books on property investment, let's say 1 book on commercial property conversion, 2 books on financial freedom, and something like that. And then you've decided, like in 5 years time, how would you like those books to do for you? Like, so you can really keep that in mind and then design the book accordingly, have like a business plan kind of thing, where okay, what type of books you are going to write, how many books you are going to write, how you're going to address the audience, and what exactly the purpose of writing those book was. Of course. Now, and the other very important thing is like profile. So keep like avatar reader in mind while you're writing a book. So you can draw any image of your avatar reader. Exactly how do you want, or what type of audience do you think will be reading your book? Keep them in mind and then write a book, because your passion is to write a book is one thing, but then again, you are here to solve someone's problem or to assist someone or to inspire someone. So keep them in mind, because you are writing this book for somebody else, not for you to read yourself. Yeah. So keep the person in mind that you are writing this book for, or the category of that audience in mind who you are addressing to. Yeah. So that, and now the book can really do so many things, so that's why we have mentioned here strategy number 1, strategy number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can really use your book and position it very differently for various different type of businesses, and we'll talk about this later. So let's say one of them, the way you can use it, use the book as a calling card. People, will, if you give them a business card, they can put the business card in the bin, but they will never put your book in a bin. Yeah. So if you give somebody a book, they will not put that in a bin. And also this basically positions you. So when you're giving somebody a book, it really gives you a different positioning there. Have the best cover page. A book might be judged by its cover page. Not only might be, it's definitely it plays a huge role there. So get a good designer. Don't just go for anything cheaper or do it yourself. kind of option, go for the best book, because you're putting your heart and soul while writing a book. You don't want like to write such book which cover page is not so inspiring that people are not picking up the book which you have put all of your heart, soul, your efforts and everything. So of course, in our workshop we discuss more about it, how to select a right designer, who to select, how to instruct them, what exactly you need to look for, and then what type of design you need to go for on that later. And use the book for capturing the lead. You may have seen, like a lot of people basically offer this kind of things that, you leave your name and email address and we'll give you a free book. Or just sometimes they say, you just cover the post and packaging and then we have covered the cost of the book. You just leave your name, email address and just pay for the shipping. And so basically, which is like, opt-in. So because when you are really, in any business, you can probably offer your book for a lower, you know, value of product. So let's say for a book you may not be charging much. It could be the one of the cheapest product available in your product or in your shop, but then from the book it can get you more leads. So let's say this can really help you where there are cold leads. You can warm them up by giving them your book, or once they've read about your business and your product from the book, they will probably go and buy the next product from you. So from the cold lead you can make them warm, or from warm you can make them hot, and then really you can sell the upper product, or like you can upsell basically from there. And you can use it to create multiple sources of income. So let's say for example the same book that you're writing, for example let's say you are good into something, let's say you're good in baking cake, right? And then you decided to write a book on that, and now the same knowledge that you have packaged in your book, you can also create that same knowledge into MP3, and that MP3 you can again sell it as a training program. Yeah, so people can really, while they're driving the car, while they're into something else, they can still, while they're traveling or into plane or anywhere, they can really listen to the knowledge, and you get paid separately for those MP3 sale, like which could be DVD, C, or other kind of MP3 things. And also you can repackage them in MP4, which means like a video, so you can have like a some CD which people can watch in there, because many times people don't really like to read, or like they are not really too much into reading books and all. So people love to see the things also on like as a in form of video. So you can also hire, even we teach a lot of things about how to create or repackage these things in our workshop. But then these are the things you can keep in mind as an idea, that you can also repackage this same book knowledge into MP3 file, into video files, into something else. Also, like we design a lot of workshops. So let's say you can design a workshop based on the same knowledge, where people come learn in the workshop itself, and then you basically teach similar knowledge in the workshop where they are experiencing right with you, and they are able to understand it better, and then you can design even the workshop. And likewise there are so many things. Yeah, so basically let's say, so put it this way, so the book could be your DIY product, which is do it yourself. So you can offer somebody your book, and that could be a low ticket value product in your company. And then you can say, okay fine, here is my book, you can learn from it. Let's say for example in my case, I have written a book, The Ultimate Guide to Property Investment. So people can learn about the 10 property investment strategies. They can learn from the book, and then they can really implement if they are able to read and implement everything from there. But then some people will say, what, we don't really get too much, we don't have an interest in reading books and all. So they can come to a workshop, and then from there you can go with done with you product, which is like they come to your workshop, they learn while you're in the workshop, and then from there maybe some people, let's say for example we took a example of the cake baking. Yeah, so let's say for example your book could be something where you put the 6-step system or 7-step system how to bake a cake, right? And then the same thing people will say, but from the book we can't learn, we like to see practically. Then so people come in your workshop, you show them how to bake a cake in front of them, and then they can just follow your step. Yep. And likewise, let's say for example some people will say, but you know what, we neither have a time to read from your book, or we neither have a time to come to your workshop, but my birthday is in the evening, I just need a cake. So you say, okay fine, you pay for the cake, and then here is your cake. So that's basically called done for you service. So basically these books then again give you that door opening where you can sell the other product in the line which are higher in value after this book. So that's another way of positioning, and use it to boost the sales. Book owner does better sales than others. This research says that whoever owns the books can, I mean, book writers. I mean, of course, when I wrote my first book, automatically my business started doing 2 times, 3 times more businesses, and it was becoming much easier to get business. So I mean, it's quite obvious that if you are an author, people will take you in a different way, and also how much referral you will get from the book itself. That's a lot, like, so you can really give somebody a book, because they say when you have something to sell, not everybody in a position to buy, right? So what you can do so that when they are in a position to buy, you are in front of them, which means you need to expert position yourself, which book will do it for you. Because when you've wrote a book, you've given somebody a book, and somebody has bought your book and read, then they know, okay, fine, in this field, if I need ever something in that field, I can go to this person. So whenever they are in a position to buy, they will then come back to you, and then book will do that for you. By the way, now I'm just going through the various things what the book can do for you, but then of course we are going to go through like how contents together and all, so bear with me for that. uh, and you can use it to get publicity, and you can get publicity all over the world, because you can put books online, you can sell it in a different way where book can really give you free publicity all over the world, and people can really know more about you, about your product, about your company through your book. And like a lot of people have this voices in their head, like whether you're worthy, whether you know something or not, whether you can write the book. Of course, this is like a whole a different subject, where in fact we run a lot of live coaching webinars and seminars on that. So that's some completely different, but then of course we address that differently. But here what we're saying is, when you come in a workshop, you will learn like how to really control all those voices. And then the research shows that only 1 out of 100,000 people are able to write their book. I mean, many people have the dream to write book, but not everybody end up completing their book. And which is like a very shocking, isn't it? Like, it's not even 1%, is 0.001% kind of thing. So it is very important, like we should complete, and that's the whole reason we designed this workshop, so that we can really help people by holding their hand and showing them how to write. And you can use it as DIY, as I mentioned, so you can be use this as like a do-it-yourself product, and you can also help underprivileged community without spending too much of your valuable time. Because what happens, like, there are knowledge that you all will agree that over a period of time we have learned so much from so many people by traveling to so many places and experienced during our life journey. So we have so much to share, and there are plenty of people in the world who would like to learn from the experience that we have learned, right? So let's say, for example, wherever you are now, in let's say after 5, 10, 20 years of experience, there are people who have started their journey in that field. Yeah, so which means you have a lot more to share with those people. And many times there are people who are underprivileged and they can't really access to your knowledge or something. But then book is another way of how you can really gift somebody a book, or you can really give them something for hardly for anything, and then you can help the people, because it's not taking too much of your time. Once you've wrote a book, it's basically just intellectual property for you. You can just use that as a gift. I mean, I use many times, I give just my book as a gift to people who are interested in property and finance. So let's discuss about how to put all of this together. So the first thing we need to do is we have to plan it well. They say that well plan is half done. So now the way we need to plan is we have to really structure everything. What exactly I'm going to write, what topic I'm going to choose. Of course, we discuss that more in our workshop, but then these are just the tips I'm giving you. But then everything what we are discussing here, we go more in details and practically. And I'll discuss also a little bit more in details, like how exactly that thing works. So we plan exactly the type of contents we would like to write, how to chunk those knowledge into pieces so that we can make different chapters. And when I'm going to write the book, set a date, set a time, set some like 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week or something, whatever you feel you're comfortable with. Set that plan and then stick to that plan so that you can finish your book. Produce. So in terms of producing, I mean, of course, this is where the strategy comes in play, where we have a strategy where we can extract the knowledge out of your head and put that into the book, so that we design the book using that skills. There are certain type of questions and other things that we ask you, and then we can extract that knowledge out of your head, which you will probably sometime feel surprised. Oh, really, this knowledge has come out of my head. Yes, we do those things. But let's understand the system of the production. So how it works is, let's say the example which we took before, let's say if you're good in baking a cake, all you have to do is, because when we are doing something, we are doing that unconsciously many times, because we become so good that we are not aware of the system. So what we have to do is we have to take out ourselves out of that system, and then look at that process as a witness. So we witness the system. So we take a step back and we say, okay, fine, hold on, let me see, how did I bake this cake? So you say, okay, what are the ingredients did I use, what are the things that, or the steps that I followed. So you watch yourself doing all those things, keep writing each step by step, and then you say, okay, here are my 6-step recipe to bake a cake. That's how you basically chunk, or like you design your content by stepping back and then seeing the process and noting down each and every details of that process, and then you write your contents and in a different chapters of your book, and then you complete your book. Of course, we'll discuss that also a little bit later on, how you basically chunk those, I mean, how you write various chapters. But that production, the idea here is basically extracting your whatever you specialize in into step-by-step system, so that you can produce the contents for your book. And the publishing, of course, there are various things that I mean, ways you can publish. Like, say for example, you can use Amazon Kindle publishing, which self-publishing also is like a free. There are many other creative way. We normally teach you more about it in a workshop, where you will see how we will publish our book completely free. Yeah, there are a lot of strategies which are worth like anything, like, and that's what we will teach in the workshop. So a little bit more on this in the workshop itself, but then, so those strategy will help. Yeah, and then we'll show this again on the promotion, how you really promote and get your book sold, and really position this book in such a way that it can really fulfill the purpose, the reason why you wrote the book. You can really achieve that by promoting it. But more on this last two part, publishing and promote, in our workshop. But at least you got an idea, like, discuss about the book structure itself. So when we start a book, basically we start with preface. Like, so it could be you thanking your family, your friends, your guru, your mentor, whoever you've learned something from, or whoever has inspired you to write this book. That's what goes here in preface. Then you position your audience. In positioning the audience, basically you are saying to your audience, why this book is good for them, or like what you're writing, these contents of this book, you are positioning those contents in front of the audience. So let's say if you are in a property field, you're saying, okay, fine, in this book I'm going to walk you through how to invest in property in a new way, and where you can really become financially free in 18 months or whatever your field is. And then you accordingly write and position that book for, and then you write the subject. So let's say, as we discuss about it, then you go into the subject of the book. So let's say you say, in this book I'm going to discuss about the 10 best property investment strategies that has made millions of pounds to our students, mentee, or investors, whatever you like to say that. So you position that subject in your book in the next step. Then you basically position the time. So time could be like, so what happens, there are contents, and audience need to understand that the contents are still relevant to the time. There are some books which are written 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, or even thousands of years ago. They are like a timeless knowledge. They can be still relevant in today's time. So you need to write a book in such a way that when people are reading at that point, they feel it relevant. So like, say some of the book example, like we have one of the Hindu scripture, which is a timeless conversation, which is a Bhagavad Gita. That's a timeless knowledge. You can use that knowledge anytime. Yeah. So likewise, so whatever you're writing, you need to understand whether is any specific time related, or can I position in such a way so that it can keep selling in future for next 20 years or so. And then you position your book. So you just say, why the reader should read this book, how this book is going to help them. So you show all those steps there that, in this book, I'm going to walk you through a very strategy, how I've basically made a lot of money using one of those strategy or using some of those strategies, how I basically have built my portfolio without having none of my own money or something like that. And you say, in this book, I'm going to really show you that. So you position that book in front. So next, you basically start with your prologue, which could be like little bit more. So yeah, like the story, you say your personal story, and there's a creative way of how to show your story so that people and the audience feel engaged. Like they say, content tells and the story shall. I mean, so when you have a story, a nice inspiring story will sell your content. So this will also help, because many times when people, before they buy the book, they see this first part, and then if they get inspired during this first part, then they may buy the book, or at this stage they may decide not to buy. So this is like a whole workshop where we learn, where we teach people how to really structure your life personal story that will look more inspiring, and how to really structure that. And also, but then here basically all you're going through is like showing in short, you're going through, you're going to show them throughout your life story, right from your beginning to here. You're showing all ups and downs in your life, how it happened, what was the turning point in your life, and all those light bulb opening things in your moment in your life. All that comes basically here. Then in the chapter 1, you position yourself. So basically you show more about why the people should listen this from you, what is that you have better, that you feel yourself authority in the field, and you are really teaching them that subject. So you need to show why you feel you are basically mastering that subject, or whatever you are sharing, basically why is, what's your position in there, and why they will find you being a expert, or you being a interesting person they should listen to. Then in chapter 2, here you basically position the need of that topic that you are writing your books on, or you position that particular industry, or you position that opportunity, and you provide the proof. You also position why they should read. So let's say, for example, in my case, when I wrote a book on property investment, so it basically says the why there's a need of reading that such book, because we just say like like for example, like many of most, the world's most richest people have either made money from the property, or they made money elsewhere but then ultimately invested in property. You won't find any millionaire who is still living with their parents. Yeah, it won't be possible. So something like that. And then also so this is where you position the need of the book. You position here the industry as well, like the property investment, why the property industry is really good to consider. And then you are also showing them the opportunity, why the property is such a big uh, field. Or I'm just giving an example, but then you can use your own field and say why that particular field has potential and a lot of opportunity. And everything what you say, you provide the proof. So let's say when we teach something about property, you say, look at this, I'm going to show you this particular strategy where I managed to make 100% return in 18 months time, or something like that. Yeah. And then also you position why basically they should read this book. Why is it important to, let's say in my case, why was it important to invest in property? Why not in shares? Why not in gold or something else? So we basically compare those reasons, and also we say, oh, you know what, I've been investing in property and shares and other things, but the property was way more and far better than anything else. So let's say, for example, you'll say, if I'll do a stock trading, and if I need 1 million, if I'll go to bank and borrow, bank will not give me 1 million for buying shares, but they will give me 1 million if I buy a right property, right? Something like that. So that's just few examples. And then in chapter 3, you write, how did you work it out that UBS system, the unique branded solution, or like whatever the field you have, that the solution that you're providing. So you just say, you give little bit information in the story about how that system was build. Say for example, in my case, when I was initially struggling writing a book, it took me few years. Then I came across with a lot of other training program. I learned from that. Then also I found there was few things which was not really, people can learn, but then they were not able to implement. So I decided to design a training program where anybody can just learn. And when they come in our workshop, basically, we promise them that by the end of third day, which is like a 3 days workshop, your book contents are ready, all within the workshop itself. So we are not saying, you come learn and then just go home and write the book. No, you're basically writing the book while you are in the workshop, and we ensure that you finish your book before you leave the workshop. So that's how we design this, so that so this is where you give little bit story of that system, why this system was worked out, why did you decided to make such kind of things, and then you give little overview. Now the next one is from chapter 4 to 10. You're breaking down that steps. So you remember we mentioned, so whatever that thing is, if it is a recipe of how to bake a cake, you basically split that into chapter 4 to 10. So you show all those some method, some strategy, break each steps down step by step, old way, and then you show new way. For example, in my property business, I normally show the old and traditional way of investing in property is not really going to give you a lot of returns and better profit. Say for example, when you buy in olden way, you put your 20% down payment, you borrow 75% from the bank, and then you make this much money. You show them with example how much return you make that way. And then we show them the new way, like we are now making creative deals and strategies where we buy property with £1. Yes, with £1, that too in London. So those are like a new way of that, basically completely take off the old way, and then you are using the new strategies, the way that you are teaching here, which will help them to grow faster and in a smart way. Yeah. And then you share your belief, like why you believe that is the right way, how it works, and then you give them some example in chapter one by one. And then you can so basically you give examples, you tell story, ask yourself the questions as well. Yeah, because since this is a book, so audience is not there to ask you questions, so you need to be smart enough to answer those questions before even they will ask. So you basically design your frequently asked question that you automatically build put into your book. So you basically answer all those questions that you feel your audience could have in their mind. Yeah, so when then they ask, before they even ask, you already position that through a step system in your different chapters, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. Yeah, and then you give examples, because what happens if you keep writing and then you're not giving examples, or if you're not giving us stories and everything, then the audience will feel bored, they will not read book much. So what you have to do is you need to ensure that you are giving them a graph, you're giving them a charts, you're giving them stories, you're giving them various example that they can relate to, and then that example should be a universal example which everybody else can everybody can relate. So it can be like a very much universal examples that you feel that people will accept to that example. Yeah, so something like that you need to put in your book. And then also pictures really helps a lot. You use a graph, because then that will make it more attractive, and then you have to break the monotonousness. So if you keep going into the same pitch, same tones, then people will get bored. So it has to be like more creative, come up with something new in the book, give some kind of bonuses in the book, give some kind of information so that they can go and implement some of the tasks. You also put down like next step system after each chapter, so or like some learning outcome from the chapter, so that will keep them engaged. And they can also write down a few notes on after each chapter, so you can like creatively design something in the chapters. And then in chapter 11, basically as you go through the frequently asked questions, so you may probably know that the audience who is reading this book and learning about that product or the training or that whatever field you are into, then they will have some standard questions. So you basically address those questions in the frequently asked questions, explain them everything before even those questions are arised. You're just giving them that we have shortlisted, for example, 20 top questions what people were facing problem. For example, in my business, if we are really teaching somebody how to invest in property, And then if they may have a fear, they may have some kind of other questions. So we basically address them, that we basically have observed and come up with 50-60 questions why people don't invest in property, for example. And then we say, in some of the cases they have, like, the parent has lost money or their friends has lost money, so they lost a belief or they lost a you know trust from the property, and that's why they don't invest. And then we basically have to give them a solution. But the reason they have basically lost money in the property is because A, they did not learn enough, and then B is they may have made this mistake, that mistake. And then, so of course, otherwise we say that once you've learned how to invest in property, there's virtually no risk in property investment. That's why it's called real estate, which you can really feel it, touch it, and then you can grow it. So these are the things that you can really put down in the frequently asked questions. They may have then different type of question where they'll say, okay, but I don't have money, how will I invest? Then you say, okay, fine. Now basically in property investment business, you don't need to have money. All you need to have is being resourcefulness. Once you are resourceful, you can do anything. And then in order to be resourceful, when you come to a workshop, we'll show you how you can be resourceful in a property business. That's why we have done deals with £1, because it doesn't need the money, all it needs a deal or the resourcefulness. Because when you are resourceful, you can really do a deal. So those type of frequently asked questions that you have to put into your system or into your book in one of the chapter. Yeah, then we have chapter number 12. In the chapter here, we are basically now finalizing our book, finishing with like reviewing, summary. Because imagine, like, if you're writing a book, not everybody is going to read word to word. Yeah, or there may be many things they will not remember when they wrote. But here is your opportunity to refresh their memory. Here is the opportunity even where you can refer back them to another chapter. You might say, in the chapter number so and so I mentioned about this, and in chapter number so and so I said this. So then they can also go back and then just refer those points. So here all you're giving is basically overall summary of what you've taught them, overall review of the things that they have read in the book. And then if they miss something, they can again go back and then read that book. And also when you're finishing your book, finish with some heart touching story. So you tell them about all, whether whatever went wrong in your life, or what has basically was your turning point in your life. And also give them a takeaway at the end, like, so what they basically, something that they can take away. Let's say, for example, you can say, why to fit in when you are born to stand out, or something that can still stick in their mind after even reading your book, so they will remember you. And these are the places where you can put all of those information. And then also in your book at the end, you can also put some next step. So let's say this is like a call to action kind of thing. So let's say after after your audience has finished your book, what exactly you want them to do. So that's like call to action. So you can say, join my Facebook community group, or join my mastermind group, or come and join my workshop where I'm going to go through more in details. And like, as you can see here, we are saying that, of course, so our main aim, of course, when we are saying that you go to this Facebook group, then they can join the Facebook group and then they are still engaged with you. So when you have something else, you can always update them, or you can ask them to join the mastermind group or your next upcoming workshop. Or if you have some more books, you can also mention about your more books. Or if you have some more product, you can just mention about, I've got this company, that company, I also do this, that, where they can just get involved with you. So all those information can go here as a call to action. So exactly whatever you want them to do, you list down everything there. If there is a website that you want them to go to, you put that down there. If there is some next action that you want them to do, then you can put them down here. Yeah, so publishing your book for free. Yeah, so that's what we basically show. One is you can use the Kindle, where you can really publish your book for free. Amazon allows you that features. Of course, when you come in our workshop, we also show you step by step how you can really do that. And you can otherwise go on Amazon or Kindle's website. You can also see them. They might have some tutorials that will be helpful. And then there are other strategies. This is the main part. Actually, this is where we show you basically this one thing itself is basically worth anything. like worth the whole price of this workshop, because once you've seen the strategy, how you can really publish your book for free, even not just Amazon, so many other places and other ways that can really make your business, I mean, 2x, 3x, or even more than that. This strategy itself, which we show you how to publish the book, can really help a huge way, and that can really come, you know. Now, of course, we have students, many students we have taught, even some of our students like 9 years who has written the books in 30 hours. Yeah, so he is one of my student who wrote his book at age 9 in 30 hours itself. So which basically shows that there is no reason, if a 9 years old can write a book by following our proven system, why is there is a reason anybody else cannot do? So anyone can do by using this proven system. And so we run this basically 3 days book writing online training, where we are basically doing it our live. So we are live, but we are sitting in our own place, and then everything is basically, all the instructions are given, you're writing, and then we are always all writing in a like-minded environment. Everybody is participating, you are also getting inputs, we are also helping you to extract the knowledge. With this proven system, there is a strategies that we have developed over a period of time that really helps you to extract the knowledge out of your head in such a way that can be placed in a book and complete your book. And we show you in our workshop how you can really do that. And that's, yes, is in 30 hours. I mean, that's depends on you. Some people might probably spend the 30 hours in those 3 days itself. Some people might find themselves a bit slow, and then they say, you know what, we'll probably take our own time. They might take a week. It's up to you how you take. Some might take 10 days. But then overall, like, this is the time period that once you've learned that strategy, you can really finish your book in 30 hours, and you can write as many book after that once you've learned the process of this workshop. So this workshop cost 1497, where we teach you how to write a book. And this is like, because you are ensuring it's like a more small coaching or mastermind group where you end up getting the result for sure. And this 1497, you're only paying once, but then you will write as many book as you like by using this proven system. And you can also keep selling your book. Everything that you make from the book, all yours. So basically you will cover your course fees very quickly after selling few books. And then also we'll provide you one-to-one mentoring session as well. Those who need mentoring, we normally charge 997. And it's not only just the book mentoring, because as you know, I've owned multiple businesses. So basically, anywhere you are stuck in your life, whether it's a property, whether it's a business, whether it's a life coaching, normally we notice people have three type of problems. Either they have a health problem, they have wealth problem, they have relationship issues. And I basically a coach and mentor in all those three fields. So I have a health coaching, a wealth coaching, also life coaching. So even anywhere you need our help in. So I'm not just saying, when you bought a book writing program only, I'll only handle that part. So whatever your questions are, I'll help you to understand you where you are now, and to guide you through where you want to go to, so that you will have a completely hand holding process where we'll show you how to achieve that goal. Also, while you are joining our workshop, basically uh, as a bonus, you will be getting this opportunity to join our team. Again, as I mentioned, so we have so many other training programs as well. But then this book writing itself, which I do not do so many time in a year, but then I'm looking for some more trainers who can join our team. So when you are becoming good into book writing, once you have excel into what we have taught you, then we will take you on our board, so that going forward, you can use our proven system, you can use our template slide and system that you can teach others. So basically, you don't even have to do anything, just use our system, just use our audience, just everything else. So you will have opportunity. That's why we kept it priceless, because you can really make a lot of money here by just using that and becoming our partner. And then also, when you are basically having this workshop with us, I will be giving you my testimonial in your book that you can write, and also whatever we understand about you, the best we feel, what are the good and strength in you, we'll write a positive words in your book as a testimonial. And also you will be able to make a lot of money by recommending our program. Again, it's a priceless thing. I mean, of course, it's like you will end up making more money than by recommending this program than what you're paying here in the workshop. So this is an opportunity in a way. If you look at it from a business point of view, you can make more than what you will pay. And you will get an opportunity to join our mastermind Facebook group. So here what you get is basically, if you have any questions going forward, you can just write down. The whole community will be there to help you because we like to grow as a family actually. So everybody is there to help you out. So if you are stuck in anywhere in your life, you just drop a message there, and then we'll pick it up. Somebody else will pick it up, and then they will basically answer your questions or wherever you are in your stage. That's worth £600. So total is worth £3,094, and of course whatever bonus extra which we have kept priceless, you get it completely free. But I've got a good news here for you. £4. I'm going to just charge £497 only. Since we are running it online, so our costs are low, we'll keep it low for you. And also I'm not going to charge any fee. I mean, so I'll keep, once you're joining us, basically by 30th of May, then 30th of May 2020, depends when you're watching this. Of course, you can check whatever, if we have offer is still available, then we'll give you one-to-one free mentoring, because of course my time is limited. I mean, I can't really offer this to everyone else, but whoever is basically taking action, so I'd really like to reward them by giving them more bonuses. So as long as this offer is available when you're joining me, then we'll give you free mentoring, because this free mentoring is worth more than even the course cost. So it's no brainer. Like, you will definitely get more value because, you know, like as I mentioned, this is not only the mentoring for book writing, but it's a mentoring for life. So many things where you feel that you are stuck in your life, this can really solve that problem, and then you can really go much faster. Because, you know, thing is that money can come back, but the time will never come back. If you try to do everything yourself, it will take you much longer. And of course, the rest of the bonus, you join our team, remains as it is. You will have all free. You will have my testimonial as well. You will also be getting, and also the Facebook group you join is completely free. So basically, all that together, we are only going to charge $497. There's an asterisk mark. So this is only if you agree to become my testimonial when I help you to get result. So when your book is completed, when you are really excelling in your life, and if we feel that, you know, we should take your I mean, you could just give us a testimonial that we can use it. That's all we would expect. That's it. And you can have this course for you only for $497 today. And what if you do not really take this offer? So if you resist to place a virtual risk free bet on yourself, then what will you lose? So let's say if you're really not willing to take a risk of, you know, putting this £497 by buying this course, you first of all will lose this bonus, which we owing this discount of thousands of pounds that we're giving. You probably won't find it lasting for long. All the bonus which I mentioned, which is worth over £5,000 plus all those priceless things and everything else, that may not last for long. Even as I mentioned, the mentoring session itself is worth much more. That will not also last. And then, you know, you see the potential to get the result, you know, like the potential to get the result, and what would you be losing in terms of opportunity cost. See, as I mentioned, the time will never come back. Your money, of course, you will make much more money in a very short period of time. And 497 is anyways nothing. I mean, it's if you split, like if you just write a book, that itself will give you this in a passive income. You may have seen a lot of people have made much more than this much money in a month just from the book itself. So probably your break-even point will come in a couple of months, or depends how good you are. But then again, more than that is the knowledge that you learn, the time that you will save. There is no money that we can put against that, you know, the knowledge, because you will always keep using that knowledge. You can even also help your family, friends, or anyone else. So this really always stays with you. They say that, you know, knowledge nobody can steal from you, or it's always grows. It can't really go out. Yeah. And I normally say that, if your goals do not challenge you, then they won't change you. So, like, we need to have a goal. Look, God has gifted us or given us so much, knowledge on the skills or experience as a gift. Why to play so small? Play big. Share your gift with others. Write the book. That's the whole reason. I like really all my people in our community to write as many books as possible. Share the knowledge with others. I mean, the more you share, the knowledge is such thing that more you share, the more it grows, and you keep growing, and then you can even write so many things. Even when I wrote my first book, I never thought I will keep writing one after two, three, four, five books and all those. I mean, but I keep writing because I felt like, I have so many books inside my head, so I should take them out. So that's what I would suggest. You take all the knowledge out. I mean, and if you are not sure, don't worry. When you join a workshop, we'll show you, we'll extract the knowledge out of your head, and then once you've seen the process going through once, then you will be able to implement that again, and you will be able to see how really it's becoming so easy to write a book once you've seen our proven system. We say, why try so hard to fit in when you're born to stand out? In Hindi, sometime I say, आप भीड़ का हिस्सा बनना चाहते हो या भीड़ का कारण बनना चाहते हो? तो भीड़ का कारण बनो, भीड़ का हिस्सा नहीं. I mean, so stand out. Why try so hard to fit in when you're born to stand out? Just become a reason for the crowd, not to be a part of the crowd. And now, if still you are not sure, then here is another bonus special for you. So basically, the second, when you buy one, you can have the second one for free for your partner, because we want, like, your whole family to grow. We work together, so you can have your partner as well together. So effectively, then may cost only 248. In fact, when you're joining it online, of course, you can have the whole family sitting with you, learning from, I mean, together. There's no issues with that. So effectively speaking, is hardly cost anything, then only few couple of £100, which is nothing, and the knowledge will stay with you forever. So join us for the 3 days live online bootcamp, that where we'll show you all this proven system, where we uh, take all the information. So even if you're not sure what to write, how to write, don't worry. Even if you're on the beginning stage, we'll start everything, we'll design it for you. Even if you have no idea, don't worry, everything will go through in those three. These are like intensive work program. So here you see, like 10 a.m. we start at 8:30, which is like 11, I mean 10 hours every day, sort of course you get a break and everything, but then effectively speaking, you're spending your 30 hours of time. And once you learn, it's up to you, like how you spend that time, but you will know the system, how you are going to write the book in 30 hours, and then you can just write that. So the next workshop which we have is on 3rd of July to 5th of July, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whole 3 days. Or in case if you miss that one, or if that day you are not available, you can join our following one. So just you can keep these dates saved in your diary. And in order to book that training, all you have to do is just go to bit.ly so bit.ly/book writing training. So all you have to do is just go to bit.ly / make a note of this link here, which I'll leave it for a few seconds, and then also just you make a note, and then all you have to do is just enter the details on, you'll go on a website otherwise, on Success Resources Ventures, that's successresourcesventures.com, and you can book a book writing training program from there. In case if you don't find that link there, you can also use this bit.ly /book writing training. And if you have any questions, you can ask me those questions now. So I've got some questions here. Okay, the first one is, so are we going to write the book in 3 days, even though I have no topic in mind, or I have never thought of writing a book? Yes, that's right. I mean, as I mentioned, basically, even if you're completely fresh, don't worry. We will show you, we'll give you all the ideas, how to write a book. If you have your own ideas, that's well and good. We'll also show you what type of books to write, how to write, what type of contents to write. So you don't worry about it. You will, even if you are starting right from the scratch, we'll go through very basic, step by step, how to really choose your book title, how to choose your cover page, how to choose the contents that you're writing, how to choose various chapters that you're going to write. Everything step by step. Imagine, like as I mentioned, even 9 years old has wrote a book by using our proven system. So you can understand, of course, they also, that 9 years old does not have anything. Even he never had an idea of writing a book, but we have given him everything, and the system is such that even a 9 years old can write this book. So certainly you can also do. Okay, any other questions? I'll keep waiting as long as I can answer all the questions. I'll be here only. Yes. So if there are no more questions, then thank you very much. So I'll hope to see you once again once you've registered on the other side of a workshop. And if you need any more help, you can always successresourcesventures.com, which is www.successresourcesventures.com, and you can join our training program by using the bit.ly/book writing training, and then you can also feel free to contact us if you need more information. So thank you very much for joining. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. Hi, welcome to the Property Investment Web Class Training by Property Experts Academy. It's glad to see you guys joining this webinar. So without further ado, I'm so excited to share a lot of things today. So I may be going slightly faster. Let's begin. So where are we in our life? Perhaps more likely we are either stuck in our 9 to 5 job, or we may be involved in a business which takes us even more than 40 hours a week, or the some other routine work, or some household or anything that we never thought that something else can be possible. Imagine if we have a lifestyle where we can even go on a holiday 5 to 6 times in a year. We can buy the best dream car, the dream house, the dream holidays. We can spend our time with loved one or the things that we really love. I mean, you can see there is a gap between where we are now and where we like to be. Now, in order to bridge the gap, we need some sort of vehicle. And that vehicle today, what we are discussing here, is a property investment that can help you to become financially free. So there are many vehicles, this property investment as a vehicle. I'll explain you a little later why. So here is a graph. If you see the property graph, and this is a UK graph, but in every country, the graph is pretty much similar. Like, so all we are giving a message here is, in a long term, if you see like here, this graph started in 1985 and all the way up to 2020, right? In a long run, if you see, I mean, of course, there could be market crash, the recessions, a lot of things can happen. But in long run, it always grows. You see, in any country, the graph always grows. Because what happens is, like even let's say in UK, we still have a shortage of houses. And this is just the data of UK I'm saying, but you can see this applies to most of the countries. Now, if you see, like the houses are not growing that much, or the population continuously growing, but the properties are not growing in the same proportions. Certainly, there is always a shortage in housing market, and that's why if you see this graph, it still shows that where the market was in 1985, it has gone up so much up to now, and of course, it's continuously going to grow in long run. There's no reason why it won't go. Now, other important thing, that a message I want to give here is, this is just like a graph of the property. So this is what we are trying to say. If you would have bought a property here in 1985 for 23,000 something, that would have gone now to average house prices around 230, which means around 100 times. But Now this is just where you're buying it and holding it and then waiting that the price will go as per the index. But apart from that, when you learn how to invest, actually the graph, or if we use that in like in our in any of my student or in my own journey, it grows even much faster than this graph. So that's what we are trying to say, because this is without even you physically doing anything in the property, it's automatically grows. But then when you do physically, it grows even further. And then there are some strategies that once you learn, then you will really be completely amazed like what property can do. Figure and facts. So the research says that approx 90% of the world's millionaires invest in property. So whether they made money from property or not, they ultimately buy properties. And of course most of the millionaires has made money from the property itself. And now what you will also notice, you would have never see any millionaire or billionaire still living with the parents house, right? You will never see, right? So that's the thing. The property is that vehicle that has made many people a lot of money, made them financially free. Even many of my students have made millions of pounds through property investment. We'll discuss more in detail. Now, around two-third of the, I mean, so basically I'm by profession a surveyor as well. I think I'll probably give more introduction about me. My name is, by the way, Sumit Gupta, if you've not heard of me. I'll give more introduction about me later on. But then let us understand here, basically, because since I'm a surveyor by profession as well, and recently I was in a some CPDs, and we were having some discussion. I think, I don't remember, it was Cushman Wakefield or Knight Frank. There was one of the research that was saying, like the world's two-thirds of the world's wealth are invested in real estate, directly or indirectly. Indirectly means like if, let's say, somebody is involved in iron, somebody is involved in cement, somebody involved in some other type of construction material and all. So all that are again in real estate. So basically all that market are directly or indirectly linked with real estate, whether it's in infrastructures, houses, and all those things. Yeah, so that's also basically, and what we were discussing that day was that being a surveyor, we have such a important role to play, because we are the one who are valuing property, valuing the wealth, which is like two-thirds of the world's total wealth. Now, if you see, there are a lot of famous people. Like if you see, like say, world's richest person, Jeff Bezos. Yeah, he's not only the one of the richest person who has made over 100 billion dollars, but he is also one of the biggest private landowner in US. Yeah, he owns more than 420,000 acre. 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. Just in case if you don't know, so you can multiply 420 on thousands times 43,560, then what comes, that's a land size. Of course he owns a lot of other properties as well, warehouses and all. But then this is just to give you an idea. Even not only him, I mean, if you see the biggest player like Richard Branson, Lord Sugar, they all have properties. I've dealt with them and seen they're based in central London. They have properties even outside London and all. So they do invest. Even if you see the US president Donald Trump, he made a lot of money from real estate. Of course, if you are interested to listen more, because we don't want to go into more details on who made how much and all. But of course, at one point somewhere when we will again see each other, I will be happy to discuss all of that. But at least by now you would have got an idea that many millionaires and billionaires has made money from property, and certainly property is something which is the real asset, and that's why it's called real estate, because it cannot just collapse overnight. Like you can do many things. There are many businesses that can really completely wipe up overnight. Law changes, something happens here and there, digital marketing, of course there could be boom and everything, but then those things can also be on the other side wiped up over a period, over or a short period of time. Whereas the real estate, it doesn't really go like this. That's why it's really something that you can touch, feel, and it cannot be moved. So that's why it's called immovable property asset, and nobody can just steal that kind of asset from you. Yeah, so that's just. So now let me discuss about so who is me basically. So who is Sumit Gupta? So I'll explain you very short, like with my short brief. So basically, if you were with me, I started my journey. I was born in a lower middle class family in India, and one fine day, I was basically coming back home, and it was midnight. Basically, my as soon as my dad saw me entering into a house at midnight, he asked me, "Where were you so long? I mean, is it a time to come home?" I said, Dad, I was just thinking, how will he react? So I said, Dad, I went to a seminar where they were saying, dream big, think big and become rich and learn and earn in UK like that. And so this was the time when I was in India. So um, my dad said, no, son, they are all crook. What are you talking about? I mean, there's no such thing happens. We're middle class people anyways. We can't really uh, be like them. So I said, no, no, Dad, that really appeals me. It's really good. And then that night, I slept with a heavy heart. And next day morning, I really thought, somehow I have to really make it happen. I have to definitely go to London and do something bigger in my life. So just to cut the story short, so basically after a lot of months of my struggle and then trying to figure out how I can arrange fund to go to UK and do all those things that I wanted to do, uh, basically I had to borrow some funds. Basically first, of course, I tried to get all the money out from my saving account, from my PF fund, provident fund, and whatever I had. I used to work for Standard Chartered Bank those days in a mortgages. So I was always, good thing was that I was always involved in a real estate. Uh, so then finally, in few months of hard work and struggle, I managed to make this impossible looking things possible. And then with all this arrangement, I finally decided, came to London. And while I was in the flight, basically, I was just, after paying all the college fees and my flight ticket fee, I was just counting what's the money left with me, and that was very small amount. And then I was counting, if I will not get a job as soon as I land in London, how many weeks can I survive? And then I was basically considering all those questions in my mind. So as soon as I landed in the UK, basically I did some odd job here and there in KFC, some casino, and all those places. And initially I used to only eat one time a few months I was only eating one time a day. Until I could got a proper job in an office, and that was in a real estate company. So it was like a lot of struggle, but I don't want to really go into deep in detail. And then so I found a job. I started studying more in real estate because that was my passion as well. And then I've got one after other, 5 certified qualification. As I mentioned, I'm also proud to say that I'm a member of Royal Institution of Chartered Survey. You would hardly find, some people who are property experts and also a property investor in the survey with multiple skills. So I'm one of them. So basically, you would remember there was a time when in 2008, you remember that when all this market crash, there was a crisis and recession and everything. So many employers were either sacking their staff or they were freezing reducing in fact their wages and all. Similar thread I had, and that day then I was really thinking in my head, what did I do? I came here, now there's no security and everything else. And so I really slept with a heavy heart, and thinking, whether my dad was right, that we are middle class people, we can't think to we become rich and do something bigger. Shall I go back home or stay here? And then it was just tossing left and right, go back home, come or stay here, go back home or stay here. And then so basically I sat for a meditation next day morning, which I only used to do those days when I was in a stress, and not like I do now regularly. So in my meditation, my Gurudev came, Sri Ravi Shankar, who basically gave me a message. And when I was thinking, what shall I do? Shall I go back home or stay here? So he said, son, it's not about the country. It's basically about you. If you really like to do something different, you have to do the things differently. So I thought, okay, let me sit down and see what are my skill sets are, and then I'll decide to do something, better and differently. So I thought, okay, what are my skill sets? So I said, okay, I studied chartered accountancy, so I'm good in finance, I'm good in tax planning and numbers and everything. And then I thought, okay, I've also studied surveying, so I understand the building from foundation to the roof, what affects its value and everything else. And also I've studied law, so basically I've fought over hundreds of cases in court, tribunal, upper tribunal, high court. And so that was also like basically that makes me, one of the most multi-skilled and multi-diversified property expert in UK. I decided, okay, why do not I just start helping, because that is what I was anyways doing. So I thought I'll start taking some fee from the people and I'll help them to buy properties, negotiate well for them, and then get them the better deals. Add value in the property, getting the development potential deals for them. So I started doing that, negotiating hard for them, and got them deals, sourcing them. So initially, I used to just charge fees for every deal. Then slowly, I keep getting better and better what I was doing, and then I was nominated for the Best Negotiator Award. And soon, I mean, after that, so basically, I decided that now I should think creatively, not just to charge fees, because I'm making them millionaire. And then I thought, okay, I'm making them millions of pounds and I'm only charging them a small fee. That's not really looks fair. So I thought, okay, next time onwards, whenever I'm getting a below market value deals, development potential deals and all, I'll probably, rather than charging them the fee, I started charging them equity in the profit, or either the share in profit or the equity in the property. So that's how we started doing. And then soon, and after like 18 months time, I found myself becoming financially free, having my own property portfolio with that equities and everything. So everything was going quite well. And then some people, when I started sharing these things with people, they said, okay, so that's really nice, would you teach us how these things work? So I thought, okay, yes, why not? So I started teaching people, and then slowly starting helping others, and they were also growing. And then I thought, okay, and one day I found, like in one of the seminar, people were teaching a lot of strategies, how to invest in properties. And I was saying, oh yes, that's a strategy I used in Brixton deal. Oh yes, that's a strategy I used in Acre Lane. Yeah, that's a strategy I used in South London property. So I thought, okay, I know all those deals, and then I have to basically educate a little bit more to make this more formalized and then teach people. So basically, I spent almost 20 years now in property. So I then decided to design the training programs, and then I also started writing books so that I can really help anyone else who could not really afford to come to my workshop or learn from me. And then same way, if I cannot teach one to many, then that way I can also charge people less money, because it ultimately I'll make more, and that will pay off for my time well. So I decided to write books. I decided to write online training. I mean, decided to record online training program. I do a lot of now live seminars and everything else about me. So I'm basically a property investor myself. I'm a surveyor, author, mentor, and multiple other businesses. So these are the things that are mainly. And this is the second edition, the ultimate guide to property investment, where I've explained the most 10 property investment strategies that has made millions of pounds to my investors, myself. And another one, this is mainly for the commercial property. So the first one you could use in any country, uh, regardless whether you're in UK or anywhere in the world. This commercial property conversion is specifically written for the UK, because this goes by the UK law under permitted development, how you can really convert commercial properties or other different properties and really take advantage. So let's see some maths. So basically, as I mentioned in my book, basically I've explained anyways the whole in details, but here I'm going to go very briefly, basically why we should invest, and also understand the leverage and the compounding impact of it. So so in my book I explain. Now I'm going to give the same example. I have taken the example that yes, who is a guy who started investing in just started investing just in general, not in property, I would say. And he was making a return of, let's say, at the rate of 10%, and he was only investing £250 a month, right? Just £250 a month. He started, I think it's about 7-8 years, I've basically mentioned in the record. And after 6-7 years of investment, he stopped any further investment, but left the fund growing at the same rate. And then he found himself becoming a millionaire at the earlier age than somebody else who started at age 27. So that's why it's very important, we must start early, as soon as possible. They always say, what's the best time? I mean, it was 5 years back, or no. I mean, imagine, let's say, even if that was the best time, what is the second best time where you can start the journey? Now, isn't it? Like, you can't really wait for the best time. Start now. The sooner you start, the much better it will be, because it compound. And we'll also discuss about the leverage as well, so you'll see. So that's the important thing. This compounding is like an eighth wonder of the world. Like, you will not really see, like, I'll give you an example. Once there was a king who said who used to basically give everything, I mean anything, to whoever comes to his door. So once a guy came to him and he says, uh, the king, I mean, so king basically asked him that, what do you want? Tell me, I've got so much wealth, I can give you anything. So this guy says, okay, you just give me, one coin, or I mean, so he has those 64, the sections in a chessboard. So he said, you just fill one first section with one coin, double it up in the next box, and then double it up in the next box. So 1 4 1 2 4 8, like that. So keep doubling it up in every, and just fill up the whole chessboard for me. The king said, okay, that doesn't seems much, just one coin. So he said, okay, he asked his servants, okay, go and fill it up and give it to him. So the people started filling that up, and then they realized that the king could sold his whole kingdom, still he could not fill that chessboard. So you see, that's the power of compounding. You will never realize when the things multiplies how quickly it goes up. Let's go further. So also now, we'll understand how this gearing, I mean, of course, I've explained a little more about this one. You can also find us on our YouTube, which is Property Expert Academy, and I've explained a little more about gearing ratio, and quite a few other knowledgeable videos are there. You can also follow us there, which is Property Expert Academy. Just search and you will find it on YouTube. So here we are going to just discuss about few scenarios. Scenario 1, how you really invest and make money. Scenario 2 and scenario 3, and then let's see them now in detail. So you have a cash of 100,000 and you invest in a property without buying, without taking any mortgage. Now just take this as an example. Yeah, so just hypothecation, we are taking a property that you buy for that price, and then imagine, let's say you are taking again another assumption that you are making a rental of 5%. That's also like very much average kind of rental that you can expect. So let's say you make £5,000 return on that investment, and then also let's say, as we were saying, the property market goes regularly, but average, on an average, let's say 5% a year. So you make another 5% from a capital growth as well, which you won't get net, but then it remains in your property or as a equity in your property. Yeah. So roughly around you can make from 100,000 to 10, which is still quite good, because imagine if you leave that money in your bank account, how much bank interest do you get? Hardly anything, right? Even, and you will have other options. You can also see. So this is just very simple scenario where you are getting 10%, roughly 5% in revenue, 5% in capital growth. Yeah. So that's first scenario. Many times people struggle to even understand this part, but this is quite simple one. Now imagine this time you are going to leverage with a bank loan. So what you are doing is, you have same purchase price 100,000, rather than buying one house. Now you bought 4 houses of 100,000 each. This time what you have done is just put 25% down payment. So in all 4 houses, rather than one, you bought 4 houses now, and you put 70. You got 75% from the bank. Let's take on a hypothecation, the bank rate of interest was 2.5%. Now rental we kept the same, which is 5,000. So income after your mortgage, of course there are, of course, you got to account for some other expenditures like management fee, insurance and all, but then I'm just taking it on an average. Let's say net rental return, you're getting 5%. Yeah. So give and take a little bit here and there, but this is just for understanding purpose. So let's say return on your capital investment you made is 12.5%. Imagine previously where you were making 5%, now you're making 12.5, plus of course your 5,000 pound extra annual growth on capital is also there. So altogether your rental gone 12.5, your growth gone 20. So previously where you were made 10,000 from 100,000, now you are making altogether 32,000. So did you see the difference? From 10 you went, just by leveraging with a bank loan, you managed to get 3 times more returns, or 3 times more profit, what you were not able to do by not using the bank loan. Of course, you can also understand a little bit more about this, and so as I mentioned, you can also see my other videos and other articles on this one. But I believe this is nothing hard to understand. When you are using the bank's money, we are doing 2 things. One, of course, leveraging it well so that we can grow our portfolio fast. Second, by using the bank's money, you're using basically taxman's money, because otherwise you will end up paying the money more in tax rather than paying the mortgage. So here you can also take an element of that tax saving here to grow your property portfolio. So that's another part. This is where the another smart thing that property investor do, and we always use that. This is like buying property below market value. Now see the power of when you're buying a property below market value. So now here the same property, what we've done is instead of 800 we bought it 20% below market, let's say 80,000. So I basically, since my screen was short, so I've taken 4 example, 80, 80, 84 houses, but of course with 25% down payment, which means 20 with 100,000, with the same 100,000 example that we were taking before, we could buy 5 houses. So one more could have come here, but my screen does not have escape. So just imagine that's 5, add one more. Yeah, now same thing happens here, the same rate of interest, the same rate of return on the rental, same mortgage you're paying, and then now imagine here you're getting 17 and a half. So same money, which from in the scenario 1 we made 5,000 rent, 5,000 capital growth. In the scenario 2 we made around 32,500, which is nearly 3 times. Now in this case, of course, that's why I added here, add 25% extra, because one house extra which we could not put into the slide. Now if you do that, so total you got 32 plus 35% extra, so nearly you got so let's say around 40, yeah, 40 plus. So just by doing a little tweak here, by buying something below market value, one thing is you manage to buy one extra house. Second is you manage to get extra return, because now instead of 32 you got 40. And also, not only that, if you buy in the scenario 1 and scenario 2 basis, you may have to wait for some time before you can refinance. But in this case, where you have got a below market value, just even after, many lender will allow you after 6 months to refinance, and even some of them will allow you even to refinance straight away, as long as you can show them that you have added value. You can show them the bill of refurbishment or adding any additions, then they can of course even do that. But then typically you can get a remortgage within 6 months, again after 6 months. So that way again you are getting the money from the bank. So which means you bought something for 80, you added value and then grown it again, and then probably by doing this way you will leave hardly any money left in the deal, because your deal will become free by refinancing this. Yeah. So now, so by the way, in case if you find that deal, and so on my website on Property Expert Academy, if you go, you will find there are freebies. They start on the right foot with these freebies. You can download this thing. So there's one is the free property deal analyzer, where those calculations we were saying, you can download it for free. Just put all those property numbers whenever you find any property. So you will find both things there, whether it's cash flow positive, or whether it's worthwhile buying it or not. So download the deal analyzer. Then also we have some joint venture page and a lot of other things for free. So feel free to look at on the website and see whatever could be. Now in general, like, so basically, of course, property investment is also like planning a bit business. I mean, so we have to plan this as a business, and then like how business have long-term goal, medium-term goals, or short-term goal. You need to also have a plan. Like, so this is my goal plan for 5 to 10 years. Then you should have a medium-term goal, which is 3 to 5 years or so, and then you can have a short-term loan for a couple of years, and then you divide them down even few months, few weeks, that this week I'm going to view so many properties, or this month I'm going to see this many property, and then out of this many property will go and shortlist. So I mean, so all you can do is you can do a reverse calculation. So let's say if you feel that after looking at 100 properties you will shortlist 10, out of 10 you may buy one. So you basically work out, okay, in order to see 100 property I have to target let's say I'll see the 100 property in a month or in a 2 months. Yeah, so something like that. And then you will reverse work it out how many property you can buy every month or every quarter, whichever way. Initially it might take time, but then everything does need proper planning. So these are, so basically there are many strategies in property investment, and depends, like, because of my multiple skills, I even design many where we can add value in property without even physically touching a property, or without even physically touching a brick of a property. And those are the strategies which we can do on paper. I mean, so many things before even we touch the property we can add its value. and even when we touch the property, we even add further value in it. And these are some strategies which we are very well expert and known, because not many people are aware of these strategies. So today, I mean, since we have short period of time, I will be going through very quickly, but then I might probably explain one or two more in detail, but then I'll show you how you can really learn more about it later. Stand for S, strategies as, these are like acronym. So S stand for selling leads. This is very easy strategies. While you're starting, you don't really need much money. Once you learn how to invest in property, you can really start doing this strategy with hardly any money that you need. Many times people think, you know what, in property investment I need to have a lot of money. No, that's not a right belief. I mean, you simply just need the resourcefulness. You need to be just resourceful in property. You don't need to have a lot of money to do a property business. Yeah, once you have done that, you will know how it works. I mean, you can imagine, like, I, who come from all the way from outside this country, coming from India, and had nothing here, no financial support, nothing even, and I still have done the deals and I've made my way to financial freedom, then anybody else can do that, right? So this is also one of the things that I did it. I started my journey as well with, and any new investor I would suggest, yes, you can also start, of course, but this does need learning. So we'll show you in that. Title splitting is like, imagine when you are splitting a property into few pieces. It's like, imagine if you have a cake. One cake, let's say, cost you 20 pound, and if you slice it into 5 pieces, you may sell each slice for 30 pound, which means you make 150 from that same. Yeah. So this is how you can really make more money by splitting a property, and that's only need some skill set, which we will discuss. Then the third one comes in a row is rent to rent. Rent to rent is a strategy where we teach people how you can really take a property on a rent. So you're not buying it. You don't need to really put a lot of deposit or anything down, or you don't need a mortgage. There are a lot of advantage of doing this. You're not even committing yourself to buy. And in current situation, it's also one of the great strategy you can use, because in case if you're not certain about whether the market go up or down, or whether you should take that property only or look for some another location or anything, it works quite well. Yeah, so you can just take a property on a rent. Of course, you, because you're taking it at guaranteed rent, you get it below the market value, and then you let it out. And there are various ways we show in our workshop how you can really maximize the rent from that property. Next is auction. I mean, in auction property, we have done a lot of deals in auction, before the auction and post auction. So there are strategies where you can really make money before you go into auction room, or at the auction room, or post auction. And we discuss more in detail. Of course, these are the strategies you will find in our books as well. So if you like to learn more, you can find our books on Amazon. I'll send you the information later, or you can just search by my name, Sumit Gupta, and you can find my books there, and then maybe see which one you want to buy. You can buy those books. The next one in the row is T stands to let. So basically it's like a vanilla let. So all we do is a single family let. What we mean by buy to let is very traditional way of letting a property, where you buy a property with a mortgage to leverage with the bank money, and then you let it out to a single family. And then of course you make money. There's less headache, because there is a family who is looking after your place, and so there are always plus and minus for all these strategies. And in our workshop, which we'll discuss later, we basically go through and find the best strategies for you. But these are the strategies that I'm numbering here are the one where we have made millions. Our client has also, and you find any investor anywhere that they would have used one of those strategies to make property portfolio, or to make money from the property. Is there's a delay exchange. So basically you exchange with some conditions, and you postpone the delay for completion. We show like how to do those things, and then during that period you can always add value, you can solve, because we are basically property problem solver. And then the more problem you can solve, the more money you can make. Now what we are aiming to do here is, now in order to solve the problem, all you need is to control a property. You don't even have to buy it. Many times you can just control it by exchanging, by taking a lot of other options or the contract, and then you can just add value and then solve that problem and then make money for yourself, which is called magic money. We show more in that. Like you will be amazed, when you come in a workshop and see, creative things. And then the one which I was saying is like, so get control, taking the option, and they or taking lease options. So in lease option you basically are paying some fixed fee every month, but in option you're not paying any fee and not also occupying it or anything, but then you have option to buy. Like, so this is again, as I mentioned, this is where you use it when you really know what problem you can solve. And in order to solve a problem, you can just control a property in any ways. Like if you see, like Donald Trump and a lot of other good investors, they are using this strategy, lease options and all. Like Donald Trump has done a lot of deals on lease options, and a lot of other big people I know, Richard Branson, Lord Sugar and all, they have used these strategies as. And then internal conversion, including commercial conversion as well. So of course you do internally convert the property into few more units, into four new, or into something, like converting a house into HMO. HMO is a house of multiple occupation, or where you can let room by room, you can let a property in a different way. Or if it is a commercial, you can also let a office by office, desk by desk. So many things that happens. More you can also find in our book, or you can of course practically in a workshop. Now, as I mentioned about extra accommodation, which is like HMO, which works in commercial, in residential property. So you could, let's say, have a 5-bedroom house, convert it into a 6-7 bedroom HMO or whatever bedroom HMOs, and then you're letting room by room to get more money. And this is what many times people do. They take the property on a rent. They use it rent to rent. So this is one of the things that they combine, rent to rent with HMO. So they can probably take one property as a rent to rent and let out to 5-6 different students or bachelors and everyone else, and then they make more money than the money that they pay to the landlord. Then service accommodation is like, again, they combine this rent to rent and also holiday let, or you can buy the property and convert into holiday let. So effectively speaking, like, if you see number wise, so what you normally get from a property, let's say I'll give you one of the example. We had one studio apartment in Kent where we were only getting £375 rent per month because it was very small apartment. We converted into a holiday let and we managed to turn that income by 5 to 6 times. So per night about £95 in a good times we have managed to charge per night £95. Imagine the property which is only producing 375 for a whole month. With holiday let you can get like £95 a night, and like something like this. Yeah, so that's another. Now, as I mentioned, these are some books that you can also search online on Amazon. You can find the the ultimate guide to property investment. That's where all the strategy which I mentioned. You can get all those strategies information in this book that you can implement anywhere in the world, regardless wherever you are. You can definitely use those strategies. Not only those strategies, you will find a lot of soft skills like how to negotiate a deal, how to have a soft skills, how to target, how to set a goal, or how to have deal sourcing places, and like, so is a complete walkthrough how you can really use this book to speed up your property journey. And like, so how it works is basically, like, say I learned very hard way and it took me longer time. If you can pay somebody to fasten your journey, it's always well worth. And also this is nothing, hardly it's like 5-6 pounds, but then imagine, like, if by spending some money, if somebody can save you 5, 10, 20 years of your time in your life, then it's a no-brainer. It's like a deal where you can certainly invest in your own self-education and then save your time, because money can come back but the time will never come back. Now let's move on to the second one, this book. So you will find the second edition of this book as well, a guide to commercial property conversion. I'll suggest you go for the second edition one, which has all latest information. So in that one, this one is basically, as I mentioned, mainly written for the UK investors only. So if you are considering investing in UK, whether you are based outside UK or in UK, but as long as your plan is to do commercial deals in UK, this could be a book that you should use for. And a lot of people have the belief that, like, if we are new, should we start in commercial conversion and all. There's no hard and fast rule. You can certainly start in anything, but of course it does always make a difference when you have some knowledge. You can make the better use of this strategy. But then again, having said that, you can always start with anything. All you need is slightly more to be more sophisticated. There are a lot of advantage why you should invest in commercial properties. So let's say I'll give you a few examples like what why you should do that. So number one, let's say there in UK we have this section 24, which basically applies to mainly residential properties. So if you're buying a residential property, if you're buying the second residential property other than your house, then you end up paying 3% extra stamp duty, which doesn't apply to commercial property. Second thing is, when you're buying a commercial property, you're not really so the mortgage relief, which now after 2020 onwards will not be allowed on residential property, but that doesn't apply again on a commercial property. So if you have commercial property, certainly you can set off your complete mortgage against your rental income. Other thing is, now not many people are aware. I mean, so you will hardly find somebody who is teaching commercial property about how to invest in commercial property, because I have an experience, and because I help a lot of clients. Now what happens if people who have made money in commercial property, they are huge, they are really on a high stage, they don't have even time to teach, and the people who doesn't know like much, they don't really get involved. Now luckily I have opportunity to work with all those big shot people. I've helped them buying commercial properties, and also I have that experience now. But those people are not there to train. But then I thought I'll train, because you won't find many property experts in UK who can teach you how to invest in commercial, or how to buy commercial property and use those as a strategy. And buying in commercial property also helps you to make your property more tax efficient. I'll give you an example. We bought a property at Acre Lane. It was in auction room, unsold lot for 80,000. We bought it at 80,000. Imagine, now nobody bought that one at that price, and we managed to get 54,000 pound back from that property as a capital allowances. Imagine what's left. So, and this is what many people were not aware of. And now what happens now, this is where this multiple skills that I have plays a really great role. Because what happens is, now in this capital allowances skills, you need to have two understanding. You need to have a surveyor knowledge and also taxations knowledge. So one need to be a chartered accountant or surveyor. That's why I tell people, what I can do, or I can think, neither a surveyor can do on its own, or an accountant can do on its own, or a solicitor can do on its own, because I've studied all these three parts. So I can see much beyond than what normally other property professionals can see. And now other important thing is, it's like a chess game. If somebody can see 2 steps ahead, and you can see even just 1 step ahead of them, then you are in a winning game. And this is what happens where people are not aware what they can do, but we have done. And there are some strategies I'll explain you as well, where we have where the role of surveyors and the solicitor is required. And many times when people come in, I've got a multiple business, like I've got a surveying practice, a legal consultancies and all. So when people hire one of my company, basically they don't have to go and find separate solicitors, separate surveyor, separate accountant. They just go everything and find at one place, and you get completely the one-stop shop, everything under the one roof. And not only because of multiple skill you save money, but also you get a better result. This is like as if somebody has a heart problem, they won't go and find the cheapest heart doctor. They'll go and find the best professional in that field, let's say the best doctor in heart specialist in that field, and they'll pay more. I mean, even so, when we started initially, we used to offer discounts like 50% discount on our service, 40% discount, 30, 20, 10%. And then now even if we charge more than the market price, people pay, because they know the result that we can get them, nobody else can get them the same way. So they still feel that it's worthwhile paying that fees to us, and then get them the result. Because ultimately, if we can help you make 20, 30,000 pounds, you won't mind sharing 10% out of this with us, right? So that's what happens, that you won't mind paying that fees if some is coming out of your saving only. So this is the few things that you should consider in your property journey, that you should always invest time and resources to educate yourself. Like they say that there are many professions, like whether you want to become architect, like you have to spend 4 or 5 years studying it, practicing it. Or if you are studying like law, yes, you need to still study few years to become your law degree or doctorate degree. Same way in property as well, like you can't really treat this as like a hobby, or you can't just feel, okay, I'll start investing by just doing little bit of study, I mean little bit of search on Rightmove or Zoopla, right? So you need to also properly have a proper formal education. Once you have done that formal education, property, I'll tell you, is virtually excuse me, is virtually risk-free investment. I mean, in last 20 years, none of my investor or myself has ever lost a single pound. I can proudly say that. And that's because, once you've learned, you know what you are doing, you will never lose your money. Yes, the only fluctuation that ever happens is in the profit margin. So let's say where we decided, okay, we'll make 60% profit in this deal, we may make 50%, or we may make 40%, or we may make 100% return in that. So only fluctuation will happen there. But even that fluctuation is still, like, even if you make, less in worst case scenario 10% return, that's still better than many other investment. But then of course, when you, it depends how much better you can do in property, how much well you can invest, I mean implement that knowledge that you learn. The more you can implement, the more money you can make from the same property. And in our workshop, basically we show everything, how step by step in every deal you can design and structure in such a way that by implementing each extra idea will add more profit in your pocket. Now let's say this is one of the deal. Now this was in South London. As you can see in this house, this was like a huge, like a 5-bedroom house, as you can see, but it's like a one. And then, so what we have done is, after buying this house, so basically the purchase price for this house was 535, including the cost and stamp duty and everything. The deposit that we paid was 150. The rest of the money came from the bank, and then of course, the conversion cost was 75,000. So what we have done is we got basically a planning to do a rear extension, and then we straight slice between these two building, and I'll show you another picture as well, and then we just open another door on the side that made this house into two houses, two 3-bedroom houses, which was valued at 880,000 after conversion, which took us around basically just 18 months. I mean, because we were quite content. It's like basically while we were waiting for the planning, we managed to let it as HMO and made, but then we could have done it basically under 1 year, I mean within 12 months. So even by doing this comfortably, hardly having any risk, because even if we did not have a planning and all, of course there is no reason why we would not have, because we have studied it well. But then even let's say if somebody who doesn't know much, even if they keep it as an HMO, it's still worth much more. Yeah, so we still have a well plan. So our principal amount always remains safe. As I mentioned, the principal remains same. The only fluctuation happens is in the profit margin. So whether we make 20%, 40%, or 100%. So in this case, if you see, the net gain was 270 against the main capital employed, that was 150 here, and the conversion cost of 75, which was again did not have to pay initially because we collected rent, so it came out from the rent. Half of that came out from the rent, and then the return on investment basically based on, I mean, so I've not calculated or accounted for the rental income that we had an opportunity to have as well. But apart from that, just on numbers itself, very simple calculation basis, we made 120% return. Imagine, that's just like takes like a 12 months of time. So it's great, isn't it? Like, where will you make 120% secure return? Because your principal is always secure. Yeah, all you're going to do is how much will you make, whether you make 120%, 100%, or 80%. That's the only fluctuation going to happen. But still, whatever you make, basically, is way far greater than any other investment that you can do. So at the back here we got extension, and then inside, like kitchen, this is like one of the example kitchen that we have used in one of the also houses. Now, so by just simply extending, slicing it into two part, a simple straightforward conversion, no hassles and everything, like, so we did not have to do a lot of construction, simply a paperwork application and a small extension, nothing much. Now in property business, like, is a teamwork. When you have a right team, you can definitely do much better in the field. Now that's why it's called, like, so let's say when you're playing any game, whether you're playing a cricket game or a football game, yeah, so basically if you have a team of cricket that is always helping you to win a cricket game, you can't just take the same team and then play football game, right? You need a different team. So likewise, there are different strategies where you need to have a different teams. So we always suggest, to have a good team. I mean, that's why now, of course, over a period of time, we have developed all of this in-house. But then initially, when you are basically dealing in a property, you need to have someone who can assist you in all of those fields. So a good solicitor who can advise you well on the legal paperwork, advise you well what type of properties are great, whether it's sound investment that you're making, whether there's any things that you need to consider before investing and all. By all means, of course, if you need any help, we have our consultancy practice, a global property consulting or property solution company that does sourcing and all. By all means, just do contact us if you need any help. Otherwise, feel free to build a team that it's one of the person you need in that team is solicitor. Then you need a good mortgage broker. A good mortgage broker will advise you what are the best deal available in the field, in the market, what type of stuff. Because many times, just the type of finance you can get for a deal can make a deal more profitable and also can make a deal viable or unviable. If your financial uh, product is not really right for your product, the deal, sometimes that really convert the whole a viable deal into an unviable deal. So you need to really have to have a right mortgage broker who can get you the best deal in the market. And of course, as I mentioned, finance is like, is that every small things, there's a compounding impact on it. Like if you end up paying just a few extra percent on commission, a few extra percent on interest over a period of long run, you can really have a huge impact on your property portfolio. A property portfolio can be really a more impactful with, which might look like 1-2% annual difference, but that 1-2% of annual growth difference can be a huge difference in over a period of 10 years. So always consider having a right mortgage in broker. And then you need to have an architect. So let's say if you're doing any planning, internal conversions and all, so we need to understand how you can really make or optimize that investment of the property that you're doing. So if you have a property which you feel that you can convert, what type of the other alternative use class order you can have, what you can do internally to make it more profitable, because you are looking a property from an investment point of view. So you need to see from an investment point of view, how is that property can be optimized, how is that property I can transform so that it can give me the maximum rental or maximum revenue or maximum capital, whatever your aim is from there. And then you work out your own projection for a year, for 5 years, or whichever way, and then see what would work better for you. And I mean, these are a lot of things. Of course, we go more in details in our workshop, or like many time offer like one-to-one mentoring, which is worth like £1,000 for to have one-to-one session with us. But certainly in that time period, we'll definitely show you how each deal, or how you basically assess a deal, and how you can really transform that property into something more profitable. Then again, now you need another profession, which is accountant, a good accountant, or not just anyone who understand the property business well. I would say preferably somebody who has their own property portfolio or some property investment experience, so they will understand this, like how this property investors portfolio or the finances works, and many like other things which I mentioned, capital allowances, how you structure your property portfolio, how you really safeguard your portfolio from inherent tax or your CGT tax, or from saving it from section 24, because now many people decide to buy properties in the company name rather than personal name, or they convert it into LLP or trust, and a lot of other arrangements can be done. Of course, I mean, if I'll go through more, I mean, this itself is another subject of like whole day of lecture I can give just on restructuring your property portfolio to make it more profitable and tax efficient at the same time. So as I mentioned, because of my multiple skills, since like I studied accountancy, I studied chart, taxations, I studied law, I've studied surveying. Because of all of this multiple skills and a multi-dimensional way of looking at the thing, I can really, design those things very well. I can see those things much beyond than what somebody else with only legal skills can see, or what somebody else with only accounting or taxes and skill can see, or just with the surveying skills can see. So this is where is very important. This multiple skills really help to see beyond something which a normal person or normal one profession can see. Now, apart from that, of course, you need a local team as well. So now local team is like where let's say wherever you're buying properties, you need, I mean, this solicitor, mortgage broker, architect, accountant can be anywhere. Like, let's say if you're investing in London, it doesn't have to be all in London. Yeah, they can be anywhere in UK who can really handle your London properties deals. So you don't need them locally, but then you need just somewhere they can easily, communicate with you. Local team, what I mean by that is like some contractor, the gas engineer, plumber, electrician. These are the people, because then let's say if you're property in London, you don't want them to be somewhere in up in north like Manchester and all. They won't be traveling from there to just to fix your tap or fix your electric or something else. So you need to have, whenever you're buying a property. So of course there are a lot of things that I've explained in on a YouTube channel, like what type of mistake you should avoid and all. So you need to always have the right team and the local people, so that you can optimize your property portfolio. You can save yourself some time, so you don't really start run around here and there. So of course, if you're new in a property business, or if you are really already organizing, like scaling it up, it's very important to work on this professional skill, building this team, because for us it took us years to find the right people who are the best in this field. And certainly whoever joins our workshop, they have access to all our power team, which is one of the biggest reason why people really desperately would like to join us, because they readily get all this power team, and that can really save them a lot of time, money, and a lot of things, their resources. So that's one of the main thing. Investing is a learnable skill. Of course, I was not born with these skills. Of course, I have learned from others. I have learned from my own experience. I have learned from so many practical, like by doing the deals. And also, so this needs which means is anybody else can learn. So I can transfer the skills to anyone else. I can really show them each step by step, like the whole recipe, how to do the things in step by step, and then I hold your hand throughout to show you on the journey, like this is how you need to do here, that do this, and you just simply follow those procedures. There's no rocket science here. And then also mentoring. If you see, the world's most successful people, they all have a mentor or coach who has helped them to succeed faster. Like if you see, who was the mentor for Mark Zuckerberg? Yeah, it was Steve Jobs, isn't it? And how you can see the Mark Zuckerberg really became successful in his early age. Same like if you see Bill Gates, he has his mentor Warren Buffett, yeah, the world's top richest, always comes in a top richest list for last decade. Uh, and he was his mentor. So likewise, all the people who have a good mentor and coach, it's very important. We all should have a good coach, mentor, or somebody who can keep us accountable and show us the path, show us how to really achieve the same goal faster. Because look, if you try to do it yourself, find your own way, you may end up spending a lot of time. And see, here's the important thing: if you spend little money and save yourself time, you will grow much faster, and the money will be paying off automatically anyways. So never save money just by not spending. I mean, so always consider spending money for your self education. You may have seen Warren Buffett says the best investment you can do is the investment that you can do in yourself. I mean, for me, basically, property is one of the best thing that I always suggest people to invest in. But then before even that, I say the self development, the self education, that money you invest in is one of the best. There is no comparison than where you can really invest. The first thing you should do is invest in yourself, because you and your knowledge will always stay with you, and you can always grow, multiply, and go faster with once you have really sharpened your skills. I've got an offer here. We run a 3 days workshop, which is only 3,999. And of course, since you are today joining our webinar, so we will be offering you something special, and that So we really like to work together. I mean, I'm not really just looking, because of course our main business is property investment. But as I mentioned, like I love helping people, and this way we can grow together as a family. And then I really want to have a bigger team, bigger successful students list, and I like basically people succeeding in the property game. So now we only have this training program for 1997 for 3 days intense training, where you learn everything about how to invest. The full master class of property investment will walk you through step by step how you do everything, and one-to-one mentoring session, because I believe that in 3 days you will learn, but then you also need to have a mentoring. So we'll offer you one of the mentoring only for 997, and that mentoring will basically help you to set up the strategy for you, what strategy you should use, how to do your business plan, how to do all this initial arrangement and text, so that your system is there. Once your system is there, you will be growing much faster. Also then you will have opportunity to join our team and learn. I mean, so this is like a prize lab opportunity. I haven't put any prize on here, but then the opportunity here is like, look, you've seen all those strategies. Once we see that you have got a good grip on all those strategies, because all those 10 strategy which I mentioned, we run a separate workshop on each strategies, in fact separately as well, where we go more deep dive detail to master each strategy. And then depends, like once you have really got a good grip, you can basically join our training team, because of course I will not be always teaching like this throughout, but then I need more and more people to join our team. So when you join our team, you'll also learn a lot of other skill set, and that will be completely free, because once you are a team member, you will be keep learning without paying anything. And then once you are in the team of training, you will be teaching the people, and then you can also help others while you will help yourself as well in the journey. And then when you're joining us, basically you also having, this is one of the important thing, like I mean, it's no brainer, because if you get joint venture partner, where let's say you might say, I might not have a money, but then what do I do? And then whether I can really uh, start my property journey without the money. So this is where you're like, even if you do have no money, you don't worry. All you have to be a resourceful. Once you've learned that how to be resourceful, and if you come across with a deal, you need help in funding, you will have our access to our clients, investors, or ourselves, who will be happy to do a joint venture on optional basis. So we are not forcing you need to be doing that, but certainly if you need our help, we are always there. We are not like a type of company where we'll teach you, you go home and you do your own property. No, we like to see the result, and that's why we are saying we want to grow as a family. And once you basically do a deal, you basically uh, come to us, and if you need any help in terms of funding or anything, we're always there, as long as your deal is right. And that's what you will learn, how to find the right deal, how to analyze that, how to check whether it's cash positive, how to see whether it's worthwhile, financially viable, and all feasible and all. And also the other good great thing is, once you are in join us, basically you can also recommend others. So you can become our affiliate, and you can recommend our training programs to others, and then just simply make money. So you don't really need to teach. You simply want to, let's say, whatever you love to do, you just keep doing that. Let us teach them. They can just buy our program, and then you get paid for every time a customer joins us. So that itself can pay you more than the money that you're paying in your training. And the opportunity to join our Facebook group, where you can ask as many questions as you need, the mastermind Facebook group. And then you can also be interacting with other like-minded people. You will have be networking with them. You will always have access to basically ask anything, do a joint venture with them, do any other deals with them and all. So, or even you can take the sourcing, they can be your sourcer, and then take a deal, whichever way you need, whatever help you need, whether you need a deal, you can write there, or whether you need a fund, you can write there, whether you need some other expertise, you can write there. So all this total comes to 3594. But don't worry, I've got another special offer for you. So we are not going to charge 3594, we are going to charge. So instead of 1997, yes, just 497 for all 3 days of training. This is online training, so it won't cost much. So we will also offer you for much cheaper, only 497 for whole 3 days of training program, which hardly works out only couple of £100 now. So it's no brainer. And in addition to that, I'll give you free. I mean, because my time are limited, so I'm only going to give this to the first 20 people who joins me. I'll give them this free mentoring without any cost, because of course I can't really give to this everyone, but the first 20 people who joins us will get this mentoring for free. And then I'll help you to work your strategies. I'll help you to find out wherever you're stuck, if you have any issues. And then also, of course, this joining our team will remain as a bonus for you. You don't pay anything. These also other bonuses options are available. Whoever joins us by 31st of May will be able to access all of this free. So completely it becomes free for 497. There's a star there because this that we are offering this live online training for you only 497, only if you agree to become our testimonial when we help you to get the result. So that's all it. You need to just write few good words when you've basically seen our strategy works. All you have to say, yes, I've tested it working, or what you have achieved. Just share your story, how much success you achieved from our from our strategies and our teaching. That's what you have to just say. That's it. And if you resist to even place a virtual risk-free bet on yourself, because we basically tells, like if you do everything that we teach you in the workshop and you don't get a result, so let's say if you don't really buy one property at least in a year, we'll return your money, which will not happen. So far hasn't happened. But then we are giving you basically full peace of mind, because if you follow the step, there is no reason why you will not acquire a property. Yeah. So again, as I mentioned, 497 is only if you agree to become our testimonial. This is available. And they say, if your goal do not challenge you, they will not change you. So know that you need to have a right goal. The goals gives you the meaning in your life, and you need to really have a bigger goal in your life in order to change. And also, so not only that, now I've got another bonus for you. So you can have part, because we want to grow this as a family. When you grow in family, we don't know, like if a husband joining us, the wife does not really like the idea of property investment. Or if the wife joins us, the husband doesn't. That's therefore we're basically giving it for both. Your partner comes free, so they can also join us. So effectively speaking, if you split the cost, it's only working 248, which is hardly anything. And of course, you can always have this knowledge. You can share it with your family. You can always, keep using our knowledge again and again. So there's no brainer here. Why somebody will not spend here learning something and speeding their journey, not to spend like 20 years like me, but at least do things much quicker, leveraging with my skills and knowledge and our proven system. So this 3 days live online bootcamp that we will do is a 3 full day intensive program. The next one we have is 10th of July till 12th of July. Or you can join next batch in case if this one doesn't work for you. The timings are 9:30 a.m. to 8:30. Of course, you do get a break. You'll be, because since you're doing it from your home anyways, it's up to you. But then we normally suggest, of course, you will have lunch break, your coffee break, and everything else. But then it's still like very intense, like 10 hours sort of every day, sort of full intense training that you will be learning, and then you will basically just implement that as well. So a lot of practical workshop, I mean a lot of practical the task will be given as well that you will be implementing, so that you can always do in your own time, but then at least you will be implementing all of them. So in order to book, you can either visit our website, which is propertyexpertsacademy.com/shop, or when you go on a website, you will find under product tab there is a online training program for 3 days of online property investment training program that we have already reduced the price. So you will find it not 997 but only 497. So just book it, drop us an email so we know that you have booked it, and then we can reserve your mentoring session and other bonuses for you. So as I mentioned, that's only for first 20 people. So as soon as we will run out of that, we will not be able to offer that after a certain period of time. So this is a limited time offer only. And if you resist to place, as I mentioned, a virtually risk-free bet on yourself, then what you will lose. So what you will lose is So it's not only this the fee, but you will lose that any the discount of thousands of pounds, because you remember the original price was 1997. We are only giving it for 497 today as a special offer while you are in this lockdown situation. You're working from home and all. So you don't even have to travel. So if you're based even outside London, you don't have to travel. You can still join us from any part of the world and implement the strategies anywhere, because this works anywhere in the world. So if so one thing is, this discount will not be available all the time. So if you are joining after this expires, then you will end up paying the full fee, or the bonus is worth over 5,000 pounds plus a lot of other things that we were giving. All that will be not available. And remember, the potential is the most important. If you keep thinking, like if you keep doing what you keep doing so far, you will keep getting what you're getting so far. So you got to do things differently if you want things to be done. I mean, if you want really things to be different for yourself. And so we need to see what would be the cost of opportunity. And like, look at it like time versus money. Now it's hardly, because I've taken the whole risk of on the fee here only 497, so that you don't really have to think twice. You can simply take a decision, so that because you're not spending too much. Even if you do one property deal, you will make much more money from one deal itself, from what you are investing now. And of course, as I mentioned, so there are bonuses and all. You will even make more money. You will have opportunity to even sell our program as an affiliate and even make much more than this initial investment that you are making here. And so again, once again, I'll say, if your goals do not challenge you, they won't change you. So have the goals, my friend. These are the very, simple things, but they do really make a significant change in the life. So now I'm open for any any questions if you have. Um, so I had few questions somebody has sent here. The first one is, I'm new in property. Shall I wait first to get a property and then join you, or shall I start now? Well, look, I'll say, of course, the best thing is education is the important thing. Education is first. In order to start in a property, you need to start with education first. So first, join the program. My recommendation is you join the program. You then learn like what type of properties deal you should look for, what are the things that are right for you, and how you can really look for property much quicker. So once you've already been through the training program, you can really come and join us. So you can really implement the things that you've learned from us. And so that's what you need to do. First, start with education. And if you want, of course, another thing is, you can always start with my books. They are available on Amazon. So you don't really have to wait for the training, and you can implement some of those knowledge straight away. And of course, once you join us, you give us a call if you need some help, or if you want really quicker, we may also be able to give you a home study online training program. So on home study online training program, you can really watch from your home. So you don't really have to wait for the workshop. You can straight away start. So there's no delay in there. The next question is, do I need a lot of money to invest in? Yeah, as I mentioned, look, you don't really need a lot of money. All you need to be careful. All you need is to be resourceful. Once you've learned those strategies, once you have those knowledge, you will become resourceful. Then money will never be a problem. Even as I mentioned, I will invest my money. Once you know that you have learned, you will invest. Even there are many investors, you can approach any investor, my or even someone outside will show you how to even find investors. And once you have a good deal, you will not struggle to find the money. So money is not a really a thing. Okay. Now, other question is, what's a guarantee that I will make money? You have not mentioned anyone who look, as I mentioned, so of course, the only thing is, if you implement what you're learning in our workshop, there's no reason that you will not succeed, or there's no reason why you will not make money. The only thing is, like, some people, if you are learning and not implementing those strategies, then of course, even we don't want you to do that. We don't want the people who are not really action taker. If you just want to come listen to us and then just go home and don't want to take action, then definitely we may not be right fit for each other. But I want somebody like passionate about property, or passionate to become financially free as much as we are sharing our energy and knowledge. We like the people to be that much ambitious and have clear mindset that they want to really grow in the property. uh, okay, next, will I have access to the power? Yes. So once you join us, we normally give access to our power team to all our students. So wherever you are, basically, you can really get access to our the core power team. Local power team depends where you are. If you are based in London, mainly we cover three parts for investment: London, Surrey, and Kent. So in three area you are, then you can definitely be benefiting from local team as well. But otherwise, of course, solicitor, mortgage broker, uh, uh, accountant, and other, architects and all, they, you can always have access. They can be working anywhere. So that is useful wherever you are in the UK. Okay, the next question is, I'm based abroad. Can I invest in UK? Yes. So even if you're based abroad, I mean, so of course, first of all, there are a few things you need to consider. There's no restrictions as such. Like, so you can invest in UK. The only thing I would say is like, if you're investing as a new person, haven't got like some operations here, then you may probably have to buy a property cash. Or there are some lenders we can also advise. They may charge you a little more interest, but then typically the lenders are not willing to give initially a loan to a overseas citizen unless you have some local credit files. Other also, initially you can set up a company. There are other ways which we normally teach in a workshop, where we'll show you basically how to set up a company, sister company or subsidiary companies or parent companies, and through that you can send the fund. Once your local company in UK have a track record of couple of years, that company can then borrow fund. And so you need to probably initially say, so if you're considering buying it cash, then certainly there's no restriction. You can freely buy the property. If you're considering buying with a mortgage, there are a few things that we will also teach you in the workshop, how you can really do that as well without being, I mean, there are ways that you can still get rid of that. So consider that. Of course, if you are not a cash buyer, then yes, initially you may have to do a little bit extra uh, in order to invest in property in UK. But if you're a cash buyer, then yes, there is no restrictions. Feel free to invest. Right. I think yes, that's the only questions for now. If you need any other help, feel free to contact us, and you can go academy.com. You can find our contact details there. Drop us an email if you have any further questions. That's all for now. Thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you on other side. Once you've registered, drop us an email that you've registered so that we can send you all the required information and joining instructions and all. And then we look forward to seeing you soon then. Thank you very much.